Need to make sure that it's facing towards my mouth.
Shall I rap this time to test the mics?
No, please don't.
I was going to then, but...
We got a lot of awful feedback from that.
Yeah, but alongside a lot of good feedback from the actual podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice to see people enjoyed the first episode and we didn't completely embarrass ourselves.
100 views on Instagram.
YouTube. 100 grams on YouTube. My diet brain's hitting hard.
I'm not even dieting and I've got diet fatigue.
That's just you. That's literally just you.
Oh, right, we're not doing this anymore.
Alright. Hey guys, and welcome back to episode 2 of the Limitless Physique podcast, or as HL wanted to change the name to, the Limited Physique podcast, as I haven't grown any muscle in the last 2 years, so I'm pretty limited as a bodybuilder.
Oh.
But Laurence has continued to grow, so...
Yeah, I've grown.
The Half Limitless podcast then, we'll call it that.
Half Limited Physique podcast.
Half Limitless, Half Limited Physique podcast.
What a great name.
Totally. So catchy.
Not long-winded at all.
But yeah, last episode I was really happy with the response from everyone, to be fair. I think everyone really enjoyed the podcast and we didn't really expect the response to be that good from the first episode.
I didn't expect anyone to watch it.
Yeah, one of my goals for January on my whiteboard was 100 podcast listeners, so we hit that in the first week. So I reckon we'll go for 200 by the end of January.
Yeah,
that'd be
why
good.
not? What, as in 200 on one episode?
Yeah.
Okay, alright, fair enough. I mean, we got 100 views, but then if you look at the actual engagement on the podcast, it's not amazing.
It doesn't matter. I don't know what you're on about.
It's just a number. It's literally just a number.
Well, I watched the whole thing through. I watched the whole thing through. You did? Yeah. Your girlfriend hasn't even watched it all the way through. Yeah, she's not even watched it.
That's shocking. Ellie, watch it.
That is awful.
She doesn't watch or read anything that I recommend to her.
You're dropping so much value as well.
I gave her a book, and about a year ago, you know the sort of art of not giving a fuck?
Yeah.
I gave her that about a year ago, and she still hasn't read it. And I ask her every month, I'm like, have you read it? And she was like, no.
To be fair, I bought that book like 6 months ago, and I've not read it.
Have you not?
No.
Again, I recommended it to you.
Yeah, I know, but reading, I just can't do it.
Do you not like it?
I've got too much ADHD.
Yeah.
I get distracted by other things.
Yeah. It is quite tough to sit down and read, especially like, to be honest, it's quite bad that we can't sit down and read for like 20 minutes.
Mate, I'm just so focused on the gym, 24/7.
Yeah. To be fair, we have been super productive recently.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
We're not, like the past week, we've not actually stopped work until like 10. Yeah. Which is bad in hindsight because we've said that it's kind of
affecting sleep.
Yeah, it's taken away from our I don't know, optimization of bodybuilding. So we need to get back on track. But yeah, I haven't really had time to read. It's literally just been like working and then getting straight into bed.
It's been good though. I think the routine of working from basically getting up until we go to the gym and then working from when we're back from the gym all the way to bed it's nice to keep them busy.
Sure. I mean, we call it working, but we're just making reels
content
on social media. Yeah. We're both unemployed. That's it.
Not for long. We're both getting a job in the next couple of weeks. So
yeah. Technically, I'm not unemployed.
We both went out of savings, so we are now starting work.
Should we just talk about our finances on the podcast?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, we're broke. We're absolutely broke.
I'm actually really rich.
Yeah.
Coaching business is booming. So
you got this camera on finance, didn't you?
Yeah. Spent my last amount of money on this camera.
Yeah.
And then
car's gone as well.
Oh wow. It's happy something to talk about because I've had quite an eventful week on prep.
Yeah.
To be honest. So.
Should we do a bit of a recap of our week?
You go first, but yours is probably a little bit more simple, isn't it? You've not.
Yeah, well, it just sums me up perfectly, doesn't it?
Yeah, simple man.
Yeah.
Simple mind.
That's not very nice. Yeah, so to be honest, since doing the last podcast, the first half of the week was actually really good. Yeah. You know, like numbers at the minute are absolutely flying.
In the gym.
In the gym, yeah.
Not on social media.
Not on social. Actually, no. You know what? I'm almost at 300 followers, which, I mean, that's insane. But no, I think I've got about 1.2k reach. Is it
Impressions.
Impressions, yeah. So it's better. I am doing better because I've started. So
Until we're at like 50k impressions, we can't even say anything.
Okay, yeah. Well, it's getting.
Reese has got 10 million impressions. Or is it more? It might be 60 million, something like that. It's ridiculous.
That's nuts. That's
But
absolutely.
we're natural, so we're not allowed to have that many impressions.
That's the reason that
Even like AJ's probably got like what 100k impressions.
Yeah.
So
But we use the excuse that we're natural
in every single facet of life.
Yeah. Bodybuilding.
Doesn't matter if it's got no relevance at all.
Yeah.
We're natural.
Yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely.
you're not even natural, mate.
I am. I literally am. Well,
Mate, you literally did Psalms before you met me.
I didn't. That's not true.
Yeah, we hope Lee Camp isn't watching this video. Imagine you failed the lie detector test at finals. Just get exposure in front of everyone.
Is it possible to fail a lie detector test
If you're not lying.
if you're not lying?
Yeah, definitely. That's why they can't be used in court.
Oh Christ! What if I'm like?
You just
What
gotta-
if I'm thinking about all the jokes that we've made about
Jokes?
me? Oh, stop it! No, on a serious note, what if I'm thinking about all the jokes that we've made about me? Oh, big on gear and all that, and then it actually like. Well, it's going to look mad sus. Like,
you're not going to win anyway, so you don't need to worry
Doesn't
about
matter.
it. You're not going to get tested, so
yeah.
I wouldn't worry about it, mate. But yeah, if Lee Camp is watching, Laurence is 100% natural. And you don't need to worry about me. Obviously, I'm natural. No one's ever accused you of not being natural.
Imagine.
Hopefully, at the end of prep, I get some accusations. That'll be nice.
Imagine if I was natural and you weren't natural. That would be a bombshell, wouldn't it?
Mate, what are you trying to say?
No, I'm not trying to say anything.
Oh,
I wasn't insinuating anything.
I already got called a small legend on TikTok this morning. I got the most backhanded compliment by someone on my transformation post on TikTok. He said, us small legends need to stick together. Cheers, mate. Cheers for that. Really appreciate it.
Already down with the kids on TikTok.
But yeah, go on, carry on about your week, mate.
You're gonna be a TikToker soon.
Hopefully. That's the aim. That's the long-term goal.
Ultimate career goals.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no. So, numbers in the gym have been absolutely flying. Like, the performance has been incredible.
Peak strength already.
Peak strength,
And
yeah.
you're at your lowest body weight, which is ridiculous.
Not quite like all-time lowest body
I
weight.
did like following the mini cut.
Yeah.
217, you're right? No?
217, yeah. I've seen 216 on the scales. No, I haven't. That's a complete lie. That's cap.
Bro's made it up.
Yeah, I just the bro was just saying words. Yeah, I think it's about 217 as the lowest weigh in. Like I said, performance is absolutely flying. Execution is really good as well. Like I've never been in a spot where execution has been absolutely perfect and performance is like at its peak.
Yeah.
Like peak gaining phase a couple months back. Yeah, I was at peak performance, but I don't think I was using this type of execution. So
100%.
it's a massive plus. As well as that, we pushed up. We're continuing to push up nutrition whilst weight is going down.
650 carb, or is it 700 carb we're on now?
Oh, I don't know.
I think 650. It's 650 training days.
We're getting closer to the 800 carb mark.
The mighty 800 carb.
Oh, I don't want it. Cognitive function just goes out the window.
I reckon we'll probably get your nutrition higher than we did previously, before prep. That'd be really good if we could.
You reckon?
I reckon, yeah.
That'd be nuts.
With how your body's been reacting so far.
Yeah, it's insane.
Just because you've got more tissue on you, that's all. That's why you can get away with more food.
Yeah. However, it was going really well. Everything was flying. And then on the leg session on Tuesday, everything was going really well. Numbers were going up. Then I hopped on the hack, and I'm known for having pretty horrendous mobility. I'm stiff as a board.
Tell him to stretch every week in his check-in.
Yeah.
I programmed stretching for him, but
imagine programming stretching.
yeah, he will do it one day.
Well, I'll get onto that. Went onto the hack squat, and I'm using really good depth at the hack squat on words. I'm using really good depth on the hack squat. Oh my god!
Come on, mate. Come on.
Third time lucky I can do it. I'm using really good depth at the minute on the hack squat.
There we go.
Unreal. Which for me actually comes at a bit of a price. I think that I start to feel it in my lower back a little bit when I'm using like really good depth. I need to make sure that I'm like really driving my shoulders into the pad, so I'm not, and that means that my lower back is supported on the hack squat. However, I was a bit careless in the warm-ups and I wasn't doing that, and I felt something twinge in my lower back and I was like, oh god, that doesn't feel good. But to be honest, when I'm training, if I feel something's a bit off, more often than not I'm just going to carry on, because I'm never going to stop a training session because something feels like slightly off. There's been so many times where I've been doing a push session and my shoulder feels dodgy and I'm like, oh, well, it's fine. And it's been absolutely sound. So I did my top set on the hack and it was absolutely fine. Obviously it felt a bit dodgy after twinging it, but it was sound. Then I went on the leg press, and again, because of my mobility, to get full knee flexion, I use quite a lot. I'm really struggling with my words today. I use quite a lot of hip extension.
Where? Hip flexion at the bottom.
Hip flexion and hip extension. Yeah, hip flexion in the hole. And obviously that's fine when my lower back is healthy. But obviously I twinged it and I started my top set and I got 3 reps in and I went into the hole and it really started to hurt and I was like, oh god, I better stop this. Got off the hack squat and I literally couldn't like bend over to pick anything up. Like I was struggling to re-rack the weights and I was like, oh, this isn't good. I couldn't. You told me to do 3 sets of the leg extension. I couldn't even do that.
Yeah.
It was really like flaring up. So we just called the session there. I couldn't even stretch. Like it was really painful. But then the day after that, it was a lot better. I was being a bit dramatic about it. You know that I'm a bit of a...
Yeah, I always tell him when he gets something like this, don't react to it straight away.
Yeah.
Because your adrenaline's high.
Yeah.
You're already stressed from training, and then if you go and react to the injury straight away, it's not going to be great. It's better just to stay in a stress-free environment, leave it be for the night, and see how it is the next day.
Well, I'm a bit of a hypochondriac, naturally. So
definitely.
I don't know. But it's just it is frustrating because the areas that we need to bring up are directly correlated with my lower back
ability to hinge, basically.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Lawrence erectors are probably his erectors or his lower lats, so it's probably the weakest body part. So if he can't hinge, that's obviously going to be a big stress on him because that's the body part he needs to bring up. So if he hinges his lower back and then can't hinge, that's going to cause a lot of stress. So that's probably why you reacted like that.
It's just frustrating because I also had I've really started to find my groove with leg training. Like my quads grew a lot at the back end of that gaining phase, and then also my hinge has been progressing really nicely, which initially I really struggled to do. So it just feels like I've put all this effort in, I've put all this work in to build these numbers up, and it's just kind of scary that something feels really off, and I might not be able to hinge or squat for. I mean, this happened midway through our gaining phase, didn't it? We had to take like a month-long break from hip hinging. But on that topic, I think it's a bit of a wake-up call. I have now implemented daily stretching, finally. You'll be happy to know. I'm just going to do it pre-bed, just as also a strategy to calm myself down, regulate my breathing. I think it will help to lock in my circadian rhythm as well.
I think, touching on that stress point and how to remain stressed in those kind of environments, especially with what happened to me this week with my car.
Yeah.
I think the best way to look at it is just what's the worst that can possibly happen. Okay, you might not be able to effectively leg train for the next couple of months. You might not be able to hit in for the next couple of months, but at the end of the day, how much difference is that going to make to your physique on stage? Probably not a great amount. Worst comes to worst, you've got slightly worse erectors on stage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
You can work around it as much as you can. No one's off season, no one's prep is going to be absolutely perfect that you're going to go against on stage. So you've just got to accept the fact that it's happened, do whatever you can to deal with it, and then work around it.
Yeah, 100%. I think, to be honest, in the moment I was being a little dramatic because I am by nature.
You nearly cried.
I didn't nearly cry. I was just really annoyed. But I think that's...
yeah, I understand completely.
Yeah, I think that's good reinforcement that, I do genuinely love the sport, because I think if I got seriously injured and I wasn't able to train, I think I'd really, really struggle.
Imagine like a proper spinal injury.
Yeah.
What do you do? Just train arms every day. What can you do?
Yeah, that'd be pretty grim. I used to love training arms, and now...
I hate training arms. Probably why my arms are so bad.
Yeah.
I just find it so boring.
Yeah, but I've said to you in the past that I know it seems a bit silly, say if you see someone on like doing like 12 kilo bicep curls going, like I do that.
That's going to be a clip.
I'm going to clip that. That could be in the trailer, yeah. And it does look a bit silly, but I think if you really want to grow your arms, I think having the same approach that you have in your compounds with your arm work really helps, and it's really beneficial. That's something that I found. Like, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you go in with the same intensity, the same intent, the same mindset? Like,
I think next off-season, if I stay in physique, which I don't think I will, because I really want to do bodybuilding at the end of the day, I probably will have like a delts and arms day as a weak point day, because although my arms, they were really bad when I was peak off-season, as we've dieted down, we kind of realised that they're not as bad as we thought they were. They fit my physique quite well because of my long arms, and the shape looks good on them. So
we were saying that because you've got such a long wingspan, it almost creates the illusion that you're much wider.
Yeah,
and also
because I'm narrow as fuck.
but then also you've got a tiny waist, so it just creates the illusion that you're a lot wider. 100%.
I think it's definitely my delts. That's what I've realised as coming down. Like my medial delts, my front delts, just are awful. They're just not there. My rear delts are okay, to be fair.
Yeah, same man. I've got awful delts.
Oh, shut up.
I've got really bad delts. No, I have. They're awful.
So if I stayed in physique, it'd probably be my delts and my upper back, which I'll focus on. But if it was bodybuilding, I don't know. My quads are okay, but in terms of actual size, they're nicely shaped, but in terms of size, they're not really there. My hamstrings are okay from the side, not great from the back, although they are pretty shredded, which is weird. And my glutes are pretty lean as well, which is, I've got a completely fat midsection, but my glutes and hams are pretty lean.
It
makes sense.
It's so hard to tell whether your hamstrings are good or not, because they're literally peeled.
It's the same with they're not peeled, they're lean. There's lines in my hamstrings, which is quite rare at this body fat.
They're pretty lean.
Yeah. But we'll talk about my week. Is that all you got to touch on for your week?
I'm just trying to think if anything else has happened. I think that's about it. Well, we trained pool yesterday, and I was being a bit of a drama queen. Although, to be fair, a lot of the pool movements that session are chest supported. So I wasn't doing any movements where I was bent over, and it was free weight. So
but even then, there's going to be some stability coming from your core. So that didn't make an issue. It's good.
Yeah, although to be fair, I did struggle to brace because of it. But it's a good sign that I can still train. I can still do upper back movements. I can still do lat movements. So it definitely means that if it is an issue, we can work around it.
100%. Yeah, so my week was pretty similar, going all swimmingly throughout the start of the week, or the end of last week, start of this week. I hit a new low of 160.4, which is the lowest weight in a prep. And in terms of my physique, I'm realising that I'm getting a lot leaner with every pound of weight loss. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. If you go through my physique update on my page, like, I'm losing weight at such a slow rate. The difference in condition each week is crazy. And I think the main reason for that is that I don't have a lot of muscle, so I don't have a lot of muscle to cover the fat at higher body fat percentages. So for someone like Laurence, who's got a really good amount of muscle, it might take them a lot longer to see condition because the muscle's hiding the fat so well. But for me, where I haven't got so much muscle, I'm pretty underdeveloped in terms of a muscularity standpoint. When I lose a small amount of fat, it makes a massive difference to my physique. So that's something to be aware of for me in terms of how much more weight loss I've got to go. A lot of people think I've got more than I think personally that I've got to go. I think I've got around maybe 16 to 20 pounds left, so in the low 140s.
It's so hard to predict, especially if you haven't been stage conditioned.
But even then, like, each pound of weight loss at a higher body weight is going to make less of a difference of a pound of weight loss at a lower body weight, because as a percentage of your total body weight, it's going to be bigger. So each pound of weight loss from now will be a bigger difference. So it's kind of, we'll see how it is over the next 6 weeks. As I said in the previous video and the previous podcast, I'm going to be pushing a little bit harder over the next 6 weeks. So to around 15 weeks out, 14 weeks out, I'm going to be pushing a little bit harder. So I have had a pretty big calorie drop. I'm down to 300 carb on training days and 200 carb on non-training days now. And that's really just to see weight loss come up to that 1% of body weight per week. Previously it was around £1 a week, and I want to push that up to around 1.5, 1.6 a week, just to make sure that I'm ahead of the game basically, and not in a rush towards the end of my prep. So I want to pull off around, I'd say 6 to 8 pounds over the next 6 weeks, 5 weeks. That will pull me down to low 150s, and I think at that point I'll be pretty lean. I think I'll be leaner than I've ever been in my life. So I'll be around the condition I was at 138 in my 2020 diet. So at that point, I think it would be an appropriate time to start managing diet fatigue. And oh mate, diet fatigue. No one's going to understand that.
No, apart from Leo and HL.
Yeah, so at that point, when I'm actually lean, I'm going to probably start doing double day refeeds on the weekend. So I'm going to have them 2 high days, keep the other 5 days as low days, and that will really help me understand how my body reacts to carbs on the way down, manage diet fatigue quite a lot, and also bring my best luck at the end of prep. So that's the plan. Mate, please stop.
I'm still laughing at the diet fatigue thing.
They're not going to understand it.
No, I know. We'll throw up a screenshot of the.
No, we won't.
Okay, alright, we won't.
throw up a screenshot.
No, sorry.
Basically, my first ever reel that I did, I was not used to speaking to a camera at all, so I've got a lot better over the last few months. And my first ever reel, I just spoke a bit weird. I basically said, diet fatigue, as my opening sentence. I don't know why. You can go back and watch it, it's quite funny, but...
You know what? Props to you. For someone who, a couple months ago, wasn't very confident and, like, in all honesty, wasn't particularly good.
Confident on camera.
Yeah.
I was
sure.
confident.
You were confident in person, 100%, but you really wanted to
improve that ability.
Find a way to communicate in front of a camera, because you've had the knowledge.
Because speaking to you on a daily basis, I'm giving you lots of information and I can portray it really well.
Yeah.
But then when the camera's in front of you, doing the same thing, it's really hard.
It's so hard. It's ridiculously hard. I mean, I tried it on Monday and Ultraflex was pretty busy. You know, there were loads of people around, and I thought it'd be absolutely fine. But at first, I couldn't get the camera on the tripod, and then I was.
Go to get the reverse band on the Smith press.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that.
Have to come up to me, Ryan. Can you do my reverse band for me? Can you put the camera on the tripod for me?
I figured out the camera, alright.
And you can do the reverse band now, hopefully.
Hopefully. I'll try it next week, but if anyone sees me in Ultraflex trying to reverse band the Smith, just look away, please. But yeah, no, it's... I figured out the camera and I started filming and I was like, oh, this can be easy. Started speaking, I was like, oh, it's quite hard, it's quite difficult. Especially when you've got like people around you,
and when you're out of breath after a set.
It is really tough. But I think, obviously, like anything, the more you practice it and the more you put yourself in that uncomfortable situation.
That's my favourite saying.
No one's gonna get that either. The more you put yourself in uncomfortable situations, the better you are at
100%
doing it. Like we were, it's like. No, I won't expose it. I won't expose him.
What are you gonna say?
Well, it's not even it. I'm not even exposing him. Like initially, we invited like Leo and HL on the podcast, but Leo didn't really want to do it because
don't want to speak in front of a camera.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people would be like that. But if you,
it's just about getting used to it, honestly.
Yeah.
I was probably the worst starting point you can possibly be in terms of speaking to a camera.
Yeah.
When I first started, it was awful.
Sure.
But eventually, over time, more practice, you get way more used to it and just feels pretty normal now. And I've only been doing it for like 2 months.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. Yeah, and look at your content now.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's actually...
Please go and watch my YouTube video.
Really good.
My push day, it's actually really good, so please watch it. It's only on like 40 views, but...
It's
not bad.
For someone who's just started a YouTube channel and has made 3 videos. Really not bad.
Yeah, true. I've got a leg day coming out soon. I'm not sure. That'll probably be out after this podcast. And I'm going to film a solo podcast as well this week, hopefully, if I've got time.
So the leg day
where you... Yeah.
Permanently injure myself.
Yeah. Anyway, we've been waffling. I need to go on my week. So, on Tuesday, on the same day Laurence got injured, I had a job interview after my session. And I was about 500 metres away from the job interview, and I completely broke down at a roundabout, and it was absolutely awful. I had cars speeding past me at 60 miles an hour, just beeping my horn at me. I couldn't move the car, had to ring the AA. Didn't have any food on me, so I was like, where am I going to get my next protein serving? I was honestly thinking that. I was like, I need a protein serving.
Jimbo problems.
Yeah. Not whether my car's in here written off. I need to spike muscle protein synthesis. Where's my leucine? Yeah. So yeah, I had to get the AA man to drop me at my job interview. Job interview went well, so that's a plus. But
fair play to you for actually making it.
I'm getting really good at managing stress. Like honestly, I didn't feel stressed at all. My phone was on 5%. I might have been stuck there, and I was like, what's the worst that can happen?
You're becoming your dad.
I am. There's no stress at all.
No. We're literally opposite ends of the spectrum. I'm starting to figure out that I'm a bit of a stressor, and I need to manage stress a lot better. To be fair, we've both been getting a bit annoyed with technology.
Oh my god.
Me and Ryan have really been trying to smash reels recently, and
you're useless.
Hang on, I'm getting better. I'm getting better. I am, however, absolutely useless with Excel or Google Sheets at the minute. But I'm getting better at editing.
Yeah, 100%.
It comes with practice.
As you can see in our first podcast, we were coming out of different ears, so hopefully this podcast is better in terms of the audio.
God, I hope so.
Yeah, I've worked out how to fix it now, so that should be fine. But
I hope not. You'll get rinsed on TikTok again, if not.
Yeah,
it's
only coming out my left ear, mate.
I did tell you that TikTok's the worst for.
I've been quite good. I've been quite good at dealing with it, so it's good.
Yeah.
I've got my witty responses. So
yeah.
The guy, what did that guy say to me about just lift the weights, mate? I was like, just say you don't understand.
You know what? I actually haven't received any. I've got a TikTok video that's got about 100k views.
Oh, sorry, mate. Sorry.
No, that wasn't. I wasn't trying to plug it. I look back at my old TikToks and they're so cringy. Please don't go on my TikTok. Watch the recent videos, but
please don't go and support my TikTok. Please.
Please don't. But if I were to get any hateful comments or because you do see people get taken the piss out of, I think I wouldn't be honest. I wouldn't be bothered. I don't know whether I'd make a response to it.
I think it's only when someone says something that you didn't already know. That's what for me. Like,
I don't even know whether I'd be bothered about that. I'd probably think about it, but then I'd be like, yeah, it's not.
Just got to get used to it. If you're putting yourself online, just got to accept that it's going to be part of the process. So.
Sure, exactly. Well,
anyway,
it's especially prevalent for you.
Let me finish my story.
You got no muscle. Sorry.
Bit harsh.
Sorry.
You got like a 40-inch waist.
Yeah, it's because I hold all my body fat in my
waist is literally half your waist.
Yeah, because
I have a 26-inch waist.
Yeah, because you don't hold. Well,
I do. My midsection is fat.
Yeah, but as in you lose body fat around there. It literally. You saw me when I got lean.
Your obliques don't come in.
They just don't come in.
Yeah.
They're probably the last thing to come in.
We literally have the same. We did this, didn't we? We measured our shoulder to waist ratio, and we have the same shoulder to waist ratio.
I don't want to talk about it. How?
Because my waist is small, I'm narrow, and your waist is big, and you're wide.
Yeah.
But that means that when you're lean, you're gonna have a way better ratio because I'm not gonna get any wider, unfortunately. So
just
grow some clavicles. Yeah. Clavicle hypertrophy phase.
Clavicle specialisation.
Yeah. I need to do one of them desperately.
Yeah. 100%.
Get some bone added on.
Talking about growing my arms and delts and gaining phase. No, clavicles.
Okay.
Get on there. Seriously.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a clavicle day.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
sorry. Should we talk about how our mumsy said that we need to tone it down?
Oh yeah. Both our mums said that we need to be a little bit more PC. And I thought we were very PC in the first episode.
I thought we were quite PC.
My mum said that we can't call people or ourselves fat. But in this industry, in this industry, saying that you're fat is not like in the bodybuilding industry. Saying that you're fat is like I'm in off season. I'm a bit soft.
Yeah,
it's the same kind of term, isn't it? So
it's the terminology is. If you think about it, the terminology is completely skewed within the bodybuilding industry. Someone who could be perceived as actually in pretty good nick outside of the fitness / bodybuilding industry could be considered as fat. But like you said, when we say fat, it doesn't actually mean...
It means fat for a bodybuilder, or fat for an off-season.
It means fat,
although
in comparison...
you were obese in your off-season on the BMI scale, and I was overweight. I was like 27.
It's because I've got so much muscle, mate.
You were like 32 BMI. If you went to a doctor...
To be fair,
you're clinically obese, mate, and you've got like abs and veins in your delts, and they're telling you clinically obese.
To be fair though,
what? Is that it?
No, I didn't say anything. Oh. You know what's funny? I said to be fair though, and then my mind went blank. So I just.
So shall I just finish my story? So in the end, the AA man gave me a lift home, and he told me that my car's gonna be $1,500 to fix. So the car's worth less than that. So my car's basically been written off. So from then, we've now been walking everywhere, which isn't ideal considering my step goal is 10k a day, and we've been walking to the gym. So yesterday I got 16,000 steps, which is not ideal, but it is what it is. Like, there's nothing I can do about it for now. I'm going to borrow my nan's car when I go home next week. So over the next week, what I'm going to do is basically try and do minimal steps on rest days, and that should even things out from an expenditure perspective. So it's nothing to really worry about. Like, a lot of other people would feel really stressed about that, but for me, I'm like, it's a few extra steps, it's not going to do anything.
Oh, you're elite, you.
I am.
Elite.
My mindset. No one can match me. But yeah, it's just about experience, I think, when it comes to dealing with stress. A lot of it is. So yeah, I'm going to go to the toilet, but that's pretty much our update's done.
Oh, thanks for the update, mate.
My week. My week bladder needs to go to the toilet, so we'll start the questions.
Week bladder.
We'll start the questions in part 2.
You shouldn't have hammered 3 monsters before.
Oh yeah.
And Adderall. You shouldn't have
3 monsters, Adderall, a coffee, and a focus pre-workout, just to make sure my brain's switched on for the podcast.
Are you sure you're going for a wee?
No. Right.
What's going on? Why you got a hat on?
I realised that my trim is absolutely awful. Since not being able to have a car, I haven't been able to go to Sheffield to get a trim, so sorry JT, I will be there as soon as I get my car back.
Sorry JT. Big up JT.
And I completely forgot to wear my hat for the first half an hour of the podcast, so sorry that you guys have to see that, but I'm going to be making reels from this part of the podcast, so we probably need to look good, look the part.
Oh, well, I'm screwed then.
Yeah,
you're really deep having a haircut. I don't care.
Yeah, but I'm single. You're not.
That's true. But even if I was single, I'm so past the point of caring.
Yeah, but your hairline's also gone, so it doesn't really matter. Even if you do get a haircut, I've got a really good hairline and really good hair.
Oh, you're so egotistical, aren't you? And even if my hairline is gone, I've still got a fringe.
I've literally got no muscle at all.
That's true. That's true.
I've been training for 7 years and I've not got any muscle.
I can't keep saying that because I just look like a bellend.
Yeah, I can say that.
What's that?
Was that too much? Say sorry to your mum.
Sorry, Mumsy. I'm really sorry.
But yeah, we're going to start with questions. I've got 6 from last week, which we didn't get around to, so we'll answer those ones first.
6?
Then I've got a few more from this week as well.
Alright, I've got some good ones. Not many, but I've got some good ones.
Alright. We'll try and get through them. We'll try and not ramble in this week's questions so we can get them all done. Waffling, yeah. So, number 1. I don't know why I said that. Why did I say that?
Number one.
First question is from Nayan. He says, top songs for PBs at the gym. This is a good one. I like this one. I've actually got a top set playlist on my Spotify, so check that out if you want to get the best songs for PBs. But
please don't judge me if I check my Spotify.
No, you can check Spotify.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
So, we can actually provide some value here, because I've actually got some value when it comes to music, as weird as that sounds.
No, it's not weird. I completely agree.
In my opinion, depending on how skilled you are at a lift, you need to try and alter the kind of music that you're using for that lift. So for me, on movements where I'm very skilled, like a press or even a pull or any kind of rowing movement, or even a hack squat to be fair, I can basically just go for any kind of music, rile myself up, really get hyped up before the set, really get switched on, and not really think about my execution throughout the set. So the type of music I might use for one of those sets is completely different to the type of music I use for like a hip hinging set, where I'm nowhere near as skilled and I really need to focus on my execution throughout and really focusing on the cues to make sure that my lower back's not rounding, that I'm using as much drive off the floor as well. So
that's really interesting because I'm the opposite way around. I find that I have to get super hyped and super aroused for a hip hinge.
Really?
For it to be effective, yeah, 100%. If I go into a hip hinge and I'm not my mind isn't completely and utterly switched on, and I'm completely, if my mindset isn't, I'm gonna rag this off the fucking floor.
Yeah, but your form's shit.
Sorry, Mumsy. But yeah, it's gonna be shit anyway. But I'm just not gonna be all in it. I was speaking to Leo about this the other day, and before my hip hinge, I've started like shouting and ragging the bar around a bit. Shout out to Will Razzo, because I saw him doing this in his.
He asked the question.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, good lad. Yeah. But yeah, he started doing this, and I've never done it before. I've kind of half-arsed it, but I've never fully done it. And I saw him do it, and his hip hinge has blown up. I swear he's doing like 4 plates now. But yeah, sorry, back on track. It looks a bit silly. But if you properly hype yourself up for it, shout, do whatever you need to do, I almost get this feeling of like pure elation.
The weight's not even there.
The weight's not even there. You're not thinking about anything else. If I do it right, I get like tingles down my spine. I get goosebumps.
That's just your fucking lower back.
Yeah, that's just my injury.
Yeah, you're hinging. Your lower back's like this. You've got kyphosis. You're like, oh, it's the music. It's the music. It's the tingles down my spine. It must be the music.
Well, I mean, it works as placebo. But yeah, I'm almost the opposite. So with a hip hinge, I really need to switch on. But with a press, I've tried again and again and again to really hype myself up for the set, and I've shouted, I've been like, come on, let's fucking do it. And when I go,
one more rep.
Stop it.
That's third place. That's second place. That's first place.
Can you stop?
Sorry.
Yeah, and hyping myself up for a press. The first 2 reps, it will move quite well, but then I will lose tightness in my upper back. I won't press through the floor, especially on a higher rep set. I'll start to panic because it's not moving the way that I want it to.
You won't move your hips at all.
You what?
You won't move your hips at all in an RDL.
I'm talking about press.
Oh.
Have you been listening to me?
Not really.
Have you been listening at all?
Not really, to be honest.
What the hell?
Not
Do
really.
we even listen to each other?
I don't listen to you.
No. When you speak, I just switch off because you're like,
Yeah.
the moment arm and the distance between the multi-joint facet movement. I'm just like, oh, shut up. Just lift the weight. Just lift the weight.
I drew you out how moment arms work and still couldn't explain it well. So.
I've got a clue. I'm such an idiot. Honestly, I
To be
remember.
fair, it is like moment arms are like A-level maths and degree level sports science stuff. So
Yeah, but I want to learn. I'm genuinely intrigued, and I do want to further my knowledge. And I
just need to get better at explaining it. It's so fucking hard to explain it.
I need to do both. I feel like I am actually pretty knowledgeable.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I'm always comparing myself to you, and I do think sometimes, oh God, I'm such an idiot. Like,
You're not, mate.
Oh, sorry, I'm just fishing for.
I wouldn't check in with you if you were an idiot, mate. So
You reckon?
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, fair
We're
enough.
completely gone off topic.
Yeah.
Best top set songs. Okay. So for me, a hinge. So something where I need to stay pretty calm and focused. It's always Hans Zimmer every time, pretty much. Either Time or Cornfield Chase.
Absolutely.
For
Sorry, just to go off topic again. One of my bucket list things to take off is to go and see Hans Zimmer.
that would be sick. Yeah.
It'd be so cool.
Although it'd be a bit weird, like just listening to the music rather than like, singing.
I feel like you'd have to get drunk or some form of
yeah.
intoxicated.
Yeah, and then intro as well by the XX is the one that I use for a hip hinge.
Oh, you know what? I might start doing that.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
gonna add
good.
that into my playlist right
And
now.
then for like a pressing set or any kind of set where I don't need to think about execution as much, Blood on the Leaves, Kanye West is incredible for pressing. Also, Prisoner, I know everyone uses it for pressing sets just because of the big drop, about 40 seconds in, but
I never liked it, I listened to it once.
I don't care.
No,
I literally don't care.
thanks, mate.
Runaway is one that I use on hip hinges as well, Kanye West. And then Conte, Party Row, Time to Say Goodbye.
Track Conte.
Shut up. Andrea Bocelli. And then also, Big City Life. It's one that was I heard in progress work. I thought this would be a really good song for like a top set, so that's on my top set playlist as well.
Who's that by?
Lude and Matterfix.
I've never heard it.
Alright, didn't ask.
Don't play it on the podcast.
I'm not going to play it.
We'll get
Okay.
copyrighted.
Yeah, because all the money from this podcast, we need to keep it.
So much, yeah, so much. It's,
Right.
it's keeping us alive, mate.
Exactly, mate.
It's the only thing that's...
Your top set songs?
Okay, so at the minute, it's quite basic, but I really like listening to On Time by Metro Boomin and then going straight into Superhero, also by Metro
I was
Boomin.
doing that yesterday on my pool
It's
session.
so good. I really, really like The Boys. So like the Homelander.
It's so mid. The Boys is so
It's
mid.
not, it's so good. I love The Boys. I can't believe that you don't like it. We're gonna have to,
I'm not watching it.
You've literally only watched the first season.
Yeah, and it wasn't good.
Yeah, but the first season's the worst and I think it gets progressively better. But even the first season is really good.
We keep going on tangents.
That was fucking diabolical!
I don't get it.
That was a good impression. Did he not say that in the first season?
Maybe. I can't remember it, to be honest.
Oh.
Go on, carry on with
Okay.
the songs.
Again, I really like Hans Zimmer, so when I really need to get switched on for like a hack squat set, something that's just stupidly difficult, and I'm, to be honest, before like say a leg press set or a hack squat set, I get really nervous. I actually get quite scared because it is, if you take it all the way there, it is pretty terrifying, you know. It hurts a lot. Anyone that says that it doesn't hurt doesn't take it all the way there.
Right, mate.
I guess.
I'm joking, it does.
So yeah, I'd say Hans Zimmer to really motivate me during like a hack squat set or a leg press set. What else? Should I just say a few songs from my gym playlist?
Oh, no.
So I like, at the minute, I like Faint from Linkin Park, is that how you say it? Linkin Park. My Way by Limp Bizkit? I really like that song. Running by 21 Savage, that's a good song. All of the Lights, but with the interlude as well.
Yeah, that is good.
That's good.
That's in mine as well.
Yeah, that's good.
You have to have the interlude though.
Yeah.
The interlude is essential.
Yeah. I really like Pop Smoke as well.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of Pop Smoke.
Pop Smoke's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel a bit silly listening to him, but when I'm in the set, it's fine, but anywhere else.
Shorty, a little birdie. That's my singing for the episode.
Shorty, my little boo thing.
What is that? your voice isn't deep enough. I've got quite a deep voice, so I can do it.
Yeah, mine's not deep at all. I tell you what, my 18-year-old brother has got so much more of a deep voice than. Yeah, probably. He's so genetically blessed. I wish he started lifting like properly. He is so wide up top. The top is ridiculous. Like you can just tell structurally, he could do so well. But he's.
Any more?
I like Bring Me the Horizon. I do listen to a fair bit of Bring Me the Horizon. You're not really a massive fan of like rock / I don't even know what you call Bring Me the Horizon. Punk maybe?
I've never even heard of them though.
Bring Me the Horizon are good. Maybe some people listen to them. And then also, I also really like listening to D&B in the gym.
I hate D&B.
You've not even given it a chance.
I just can't do it.
Do you not like when Ultraflex play good
D&B?
Good D&B.
Half of it is just absolute trash.
The stuff that Ultraflex play, you know, that's literally just noise.
Yeah.
That's not D&B. Well, I think it is, but
Fair Big City Life's like a D&B song, isn't it?
I don't know. I've never listened to it.
Oh.
But at the moment, some of the songs that I like for all you D&B enthusiasts, Castles. What?
Sorry.
Stop it. To be honest, actually, I feel a bit silly reading this out because I've literally only got about 10 songs in my D&B playlist. So
Yeah.
I really like Wilkinson.
Right.
You know the song that I put on my story the other day?
Oh yeah. That's a good song. Oh, that's a good song, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that D&B?
That's D&B.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what's all the trash that they play in the gym? Is that just like hardcore D&B?
Yeah, some of it's hardcore D&B.
Techno.
Is it like I think the stuff that I just call like noise.
Yeah.
I think that's
the stuff I can't deal with.
Oh, it's awful. It's absolutely horrible.
Because I get PTSD from after my leg press sets,
Yeah.
after my back squat sets, when there's a speaker right in front of me, blasting D&B while I feel like I'm about to die.
Yeah. And then they start like
The amount of time I have to
playing
go
the
outside Ultraflex to like get my heart rate down just
Yeah.
because it's too loud in there and I can't get my heart rate down.
We always say that if they're just playing that kind of stuff, when you step outside, you take a deep breath and you're like, oh,
Thank God.
thank God we're out. Yeah. It's an incredible place, but Ultraflex, sort your music out. Play. In all fairness, it must be.
Most of the time it's good.
Most of the time, it is good. In all fairness, I think it must be really difficult to play really good music all day.
It's part of the atmosphere as well, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
So I've got 2 more from Naeem, but they're quick ones. So should we just do them quickly?
Yeah, go for it.
First one, I'm not going to be able to help much with this, but how to rizz up a girl at the gym.
Next question.
Outside of the gym, I'm okay, but in the gym, I'm so ultra focused on my session. I'm such a bodybuilder that I don't even think about it. Well, we can speak about that time the girl.
Bro has no risk.
I have rizz. I've got rizz. You know I've got rizz. My conversion rate's outrageous. But yeah, that girl at the gym the other day, he literally just, I just opened the door for her. She said thank you. I went, ooh.
Like a mate.
My brain just wasn't working. I think I was supposed to say it's alright. I went, oh. And I just opened the door for her. That was it. Yeah, so I can't help you with that at all, mate. But outside of the gym, it's just confidence.
Do you not want to hear my answer?
Go on, because you're such an expert in this field.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Mate. I am the Rizzler. The Rizzler of us. You completely thrown me off.
I want to hear your tips. Come on, mate. I need some of these. Inside the gym, I just think it's a weird place to approach a girl. Like, I don't think they want to be approached in the gym.
Plus, I know you were taking the piss when you were like, I'm such a bodybuilder, but in all seriousness, we don't go to the gym for that. Like, I'm so locked in.
You also have a girlfriend.
I was going to say this. I also have a girlfriend.
Firstly, he doesn't go to the gym to see a girl, but the second thing why he doesn't do it is because he's got a girlfriend.
Yeah, well, even if I didn't have a girlfriend, I wouldn't.
Yeah,
it's not why I go to the gym, and it's not really on my mind. You know, I'm so hyper focused on the lifts I'm doing.
Oh, we're so boring.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
But it's what I completely agree.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it does sound boring, but like, it must sound really dull and boring to a lot of people. But I don't care. It's what I love. I absolutely love going in and being super locked in. So it's my happy place. It's where I'm in my flow state, and I just even if I didn't have a girlfriend, I don't think I'd be that bothered, genuinely. But
no,
Ellie, I love you. Ellie. That was my rip.
Did I speak? I'm in big trouble. Yeah, so next question from Naya. This is another good one actually. We've actually got 4 questions from Naya. Should we just all do them all in one go?
Nane's a G, man.
He's paying for this.
Yeah, I know.
4 questions.
That's unreal. He's put a really good question for me.
Oh, has he? So he's got 5 questions?
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
Nane, you can invoice us for this. One month's coaching each, please, mate. So, he says, tips to hit your protein goal.
Okay, yeah. So I'd say the main thing for hitting your protein goal is frequency. If you have a lot of protein in one sitting, 1, it's not going to digest well. 2, it's not going to be optimal for muscle protein synthesis. And 3, I mean, I guess it kind of links to digestion, but it's just like it's not going to feel great, and you're way less likely to get in the amount of total protein that you need to get in like during the day.
Yeah, 100%. I'd say, firstly, don't go from having a very small amount of protein to trying to get 1 pound per gram of body weight straight away. 1 pound per gram of body weight? 1 gram per pound of body weight straight away. So
Sure.
I'd slowly work your way up, and eventually you'll get to a point where you're having that optimal amount. So I'd probably start off with 4 protein servings a day.
Yeah.
And then have around at least 0.7 grams per pound.
Sure.
That should do you fine in terms of muscle protein synthesis and optimising growth. And then I'll just have 3 main meals and 1 protein shake. It's pretty easy. So
to add to this, I would also say make it convenient. So if you have the expendable income to do so, I would buy some type of whey.
definitely, it's the easiest one.
I really like the CMP whey. You've got the Perform whey, which I think is pretty good. Like whey's whey at the end of the day. Like there's not going to be that much different.
Bars.
Whey's whey.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day.
What can you say?
Stop it. Seriously,
Okay,
stop.
Yeah.
Whey's whey at the end of the day. Like it's not gonna. I did it again. That was bars. It's just so natural. You've completely thrown me off now. There's not going to be that much difference from company to company in terms of quality. I mean, some are like blatantly better quality, but even if you get like say my protein one, it's.
Oh, don't get my protein whey, please. I just shit myself every time I drink my protein shake. Never again.
Yeah, it's not good.
I don't care how cheap it is. It's not even cheap anymore.
No, but if someone can.
If someone can digest it, go for it.
Yeah, 100%.
Can you digest it?
I can digest it.
Can you?
Yeah.
Oh, I just shit myself.
Yeah. Thanks, mate, for that.
No worries, mate, no worries.
You said that twice as well.
Just had to get my point across.
Yeah. Let everyone know. But no, I'd hammer away at convenience. Also, in terms of like taste, I'd just pick protein sources that you enjoy. So hammering like chicken breast probably will get pretty boring. I mean, if you add sauce, it will be better. But even then, I have 3 chicken meals, and I do it because I don't particularly. Well, I do eat for enjoyment, but the reason I eat is for recovery purposes and to fuel my sessions. But for say someone who's just a lifestyle gym goer, I would pick protein sources that you enjoy. So if you like chicken, have chicken. You're a massive fan of yogurt. You're a big yogurt man.
I'm a yogurt man.
Yeah, I'm a yogurt man as well. No, I am. I love yogurt. It's so nice. I just choose not to eat it.
You're too much of a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Chicken everything. We have chicken all way.
Yeah. You could have like red meats, so you could have like steak, beef mince. Fish is also a really good option and also a really good source of like healthy fatty acids and like omega-3.
Yeah.
What else?
I think the main thing for getting in your protein is routine. Making sure you're in a really good routine.
Yeah.
And matching where you're hungry with where you're having your meals. So for example, a lot of people aren't hungry in the morning, therefore you want a more convenient source of protein in the morning. So having a shake first thing, just to spark muscle protein synthesis, and then having your 3 other meals later on in the day would be a good idea, just to match where you're hungry and also making sure you're getting in those protein servings. And then for the 3 other meals, just have them at the same time each day. Make sure there's at least part of the meal is protein based, and aim for around 25 grams of a complete protein, and you'll be pretty good. And if you're doing that for 4 protein servings a day of 25 grams of a highly bioavailable source, so
you look like Jay Cutler.
Yeah, pretty much, Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah.
So of a highly bioavailable source and a complete amino acid profile, which will come from any meat product and from soy, then you're covered pretty much. And there's nothing you're not really going to optimise anything more by having more protein servings. Potentially 5 might be a little bit better in terms of maximising muscle protein synthesis throughout the day.
Not much better.
But yeah, exactly. But 4 is pretty much, for any lifestyle client, I'd say 4 is more than enough. And then trying to get around, I'd say 0.4 grams per kilogram of a complete source, but 25 grams is pretty much that for most people. So yeah,
Sure.
25 grams of complete source in each one of those meals. Opt for protein servings you enjoy, like Laurence said. Potentially also, if you do enjoy leaner meats, going for a leaner option is going to help in terms of getting in that amount of protein. So go for chicken breast instead of chicken thighs if you do enjoy that. It's going to be a lot easier in terms of getting that amount of protein per meal. And yeah, just make sure you're in a good routine of doing things, and you'll get used to it over time. And gradually you'll be able to build it up, and eventually you'll be able to hit the optimal amount of protein per day, which is spot on.
Very good knowledge.
Thank you, mate.
Absolute knowledge.
So, the 4th or 5th question from Naya. This one's actually really good.
Okay, alright.
I am going to let you ask one. I want to get all the names done because...
Alright, go for it.
So, if you had to take on a 100 kids of a single age, what age would you choose and what is your tactic? So in like a battle, it's you versus 100 kids. Sounds a bit dodgy, this question.
This question's a bit sus.
I'm going to get the police on for this question.
What?
So it's a battle, strictly a battle. A fight. I honestly think it'd be like a bunch of 4-year-olds. I don't think I can go any higher. My fighting ability is next to zero. Although I'm a black belt in Taekwondo, and still my fighting ability is awful.
Yeah, I'd probably say the same.
No, four
I've never
four
been
might be a bit young. 4 might be a bit young. I reckon you could probably take. Oh no, 100 though. They could just climb all over you and like drag you down. I reckon 5. Any older than 5, you're gonna struggle. 100 is a lot.
100 of them, yeah, true. And what did he say? What tactic that you'd?
Oh, the tactic's easy. You just go for the biggest one. Boost him.
Nah, you know when you used to play zombies and you used to create like a little zombie train.
Spawn trap them.
Oh God!
This sorry, Mum. This question is not.
Sorry, man.
This question is not PC at all. Yeah, but you just go for the biggest one, and then hopefully, by dealing with him, you scale off the rest. I think that's the best. I think that's what Joe Rogan said to this question.
But I think the question is like they're all the same. Like they're like bots.
They're the exact same people.
Yeah. They're like NPCs.
Ah.
Why would one be bigger than the other? I know, like that just makes sense from like.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go for a zombies tactic then, aren't you?
Yeah, make a like. I can't say it again. How about Uncle Tits and Wax?
This is so bad. Right, we'll move on. We're gonna say 5. I think I'm gonna say 5. What are you gonna say?
I'll say the same.
Any older than that, and you're being deluded.
Yeah.
Hundreds of kids.
You'd be in trouble if it was older.
100%.
So.
Okay, so we're in for part 3. Our camera and our mics all ran out of charge. We are very unprofessional, but we'll get started with some questions from you because we've had quite a lot from me so far.
It's a really funny segment as well.
It was good, but hopefully the mics didn't turn out too bad in that last segment.
I'm sure you could probably still hear some on audio, so.
I think you will be able to. It should be fine.
Just keep on checking that my blue light's on. Sound the whole thing.
Blue light? Sorry, mate.
Mate, it's like
My
12 in the afternoon.
My melatonin just got suppressed.
Oh, stop it.
Why would you? Bodybuilding jokes.
Honestly.
Go on, your question.
Shush. So I've got a question here from Ryan Jackson Fit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. But he said, why does your coach literally have no muscle?
Go on then, mate, answer.
Because he trains with no intensity, his execution is really poor, and he likes to blame it on his structure and his genetics. But really, he just doesn't adhere.
Yeah, I agree. Completely agree.
Yeah.
Next question.
So Leo, big up Leo, has put, Laurence, realistic expectations for your shoes. And then he put in another question box.
Shoes?
Shows.
Oh, what's he like?
Honestly.
What's he like?
He's
He's been too lean for too long, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's extreme diet fatigue taking over.
Massive diet fatigue.
I feel like this is a bit of a dig. What does he mean by realistic expectations?
Well, we can go through them, to be fair, what we set at the very start of the coaching process.
Yeah, that's alright.
It's no problem having big goals, is it? So.
No, but he's put Laurence.
Well, you're
realistic
not
expectations.
You're not going to win the Olympia next year, I don't think. That would be a bit unrealistic, wouldn't it? Natural to win the Big O.
No. You're not talking about the untested Olympia, as in the Olympia.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Olympia. You're not going to win the Olympia, mate. Do you remember when Deer's back?
I'd smoke him. I'd literally smoke him.
Alright.
You seen my physique recently?
Yeah,
I'd smoke it.
You literally have the middest physique I've seen.
Is the camera even on me? Can you see?
Yeah, it is.
It is. Okay, sound. Okay, so initially, when Ryan started coaching me, he said that he thinks I have the potential to win the British champs in junior men's physique.
I literally just said that so he'd want to be coached by me. I didn't actually believe it.
trying to give a serious
Sorry,
answer.
mate. Sorry, go on. Carry on.
Just checking my mic is working, yeah. So I think for the first couple months, well, I'd say the first like 4 or 5 months, I had it in my head that my goal was to be a British champion in junior men's physique. Yeah. Since then, I think, whilst I still think it's entirely possible, I think I've completely changed my mindset in terms of my expectations when it comes to bodybuilding. So my mindset is, if I go in, I come dead last, like literally rock bottom of the pile, don't even qualify for finals. As long as I bring a package and a physique that, one, I know that I couldn't have done any more to bring that package to the stage, and two, a package that, you know, I'm really proud of. Like, I look back at photos and I think, wow, like, I got in good nick there, I look really good, you know. Then I'm actually not too bothered about where I place. And I'm not even saying that, I genuinely mean that, because I think I've started to realise it's a bit of a dangerous game to have the goal of coming, say, like first in a show.
I disagree.
Like winning shows. Well, hang on, let me say my piece.
Alright, okay, I'll see this.
And that's because bodybuilding is a very opinionated sport, right? So you could turn up on the day, yeah, and you could look your best, you know, you could have nailed everything, but a judge could say, I think this guy is more men's physique than you. And I've got proof of that, because since training at Ultraflex, I've had multiple people come up to me and say, you're not men's physique, you're not this, you don't have the shape for MPD. I've had people
they're mainly saying that you're too big for MPD. They're not saying you don't have the shape.
Well,
because you definitely do have the shape.
Hang on. Again, you're ruining my. This could be a really good
Don't
reel.
be so dumb, mate.
No. Well, just let me finish.
Sorry.
Let me
Sorry,
finish.
I'm not speaking anymore.
What I'm saying is, bodybuilding is a very subjective sport. It's essentially someone's opinion of your physique, and there are people who have very varying opinions. You know, some people, on the contrary to what I've just said, some people have said that I'm actually really men's physique. You know, I suit the men's physique division in terms of shape, and
I've said that.
yeah, exactly. That, you know, and because of this, I don't think it's a good mentality to go into a show expecting to win. I think it's important to have.
That's the key difference.
Yeah, I think it's important to have really good stage presence. I think it's important to be confident in the way that you pose, and you know, I think I've still not done it myself, but I've heard that, you know, having good stage presence and, you know, almost looking like, you know that you're the best on the stage, and if that's reflective in posing, then I know that helps, but that's completely different between, you know, your mindset and expectations and what you actually present. So yeah, that's my mindset. I'm actually really not too fussed about where I place. I actually don't really care about bodybuilding. I'm literally just doing it for social media pictures. I'm buying a camera soon, and I'm literally just going to rinse photos of really high quality images of me being peeled, absolutely spam my Instagram with it.
Completely shooting your diet after the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, absolutely obliterate any chances of a productive off season. And yeah, I actually, you know what, I said this in our group chat, I just don't like bodybuilding. I don't like training. I don't know why I do it. Well, I know why I do it. I do it for the social media content and for like validation of complete and utter strangers and men.
Yeah, alright, so I'll give my opinion on this.
Yeah.
It's slightly different to yours, but I think the wording's just different. I think your goals should be scary and they should be unrealistic, in my opinion. So for my goals for this season are to win the show that I'm doing. Is that realistic? Maybe not with the shape and, not the shape, but the muscularity I have.
Yeah.
But setting a goal that high, in my opinion, isn't a problem. Because setting a goal too high and then falling short of it, you're still probably going to do better if you set a goal low and hit that goal. So I'd rather set a goal really high, that might be unrealistic, and then strive for that goal as much as I can and make that transfer into my work ethic, and therefore try and hit that goal and fall a little bit short, than setting your goals too low. I think when it becomes dangerous is when your expectations are to hit that goal. Your expectations should be low, And your expectations for your first show should just be to enjoy the process and maximise your ability and maximise your potential during that prep. But the goals should be scary and the goals should be as high as you can possibly see them. So for you, I think having the goal of winning the British Championship is fine, but not putting the pressure on yourself and expecting yourself to win the British Championships. That's where the problem will come in, and the pressure and the stress will get to you. So I'd rather you have really high goals and strive for really high goals and put the expectation, not the expectation, but make sure that you're putting that work in to achieve that goal. And then if you fall short, you become top 3 of the British. If you just win the show and don't do well at the British finals, then it's fine. As long as you aim for that goal and you try to get it, then that's what really matters at the end of the day, in my opinion.
You know what I wish I hadn't done looking back is, I've told a fair few people that my goal is to win the British title, and looking back, I do feel a bit silly doing that, because
I don't think it's silly at all.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's because it's coming from.
You're not saying I'm going to win the British title.
Yeah.
You're saying my goal is to win the British title. There's a big difference in that.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe it's because I lack a bit of confidence. But I just think I think some people might just think who's this kid?
I don't think it's cocky at all to say that that's your goal. I think if you said I'm going to win it or I'm going to be undeniable, that's being cocky, isn't it? It's way better just to have big goals and say that's what I'm striving for.
Yeah.
And then if you fall short, you never said you're going to win it. You can never say you're going to win a show. You never know who's going to show up. Jovan could show up for all you know, and you get destroyed.
Jovan, please don't show up.
Yeah,
please
exactly.
So there's no point in you competing again in UKDF.
Leo could show up and you get destroyed.
No, Leo, again, don't compete with me.
Exactly.
Leave that out first. Be undeniable in 2024. 2024 is your year, Leo.
Yeah, not really. Please don't compete in 2023. Please.
No, I'd smoke it. I'm bigger.
I think it'd be close.
Yeah.
Yeah, so your expectations should be just to enjoy the prep and maximise your potential, and your goals, in my opinion, should be a little bit more scary and a little bit more unrealistic.
Sure. No, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's just some wording, isn't it, basically?
Yeah, sure.
Have you got one last question?
Yep. Well, I've got 2.
Oh, nice, mate.
I know, coming in with all the questions today. I've got 2 really good questions, and another one from them, which is funny. But Alex asked the question: myths, stereotypes about bodybuilding that are and aren't true.
Oh my god, there's so many.
There's so many.
Where do we even start?
I did read this question previously, and I was like, where do we even start? Like, what do we initially say?
Volume is not the primary driver of hypertrophy.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest misconception.
No, mate, you're wrong. You can exponentially increase your volume.
Exponentially.
Does that not make sense?
Exponentially.
I tried, alright?
Very tried to use a big word and got shut down. No.
You can exponentially increase your volume. Like you
can get bigger.
Yeah,
I was doing 100 sets a week at one point.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's what I was doing.
Right.
20 sets, 3 sets of 10.
Yeah.
It worked, mate.
I have quite an opinionated view on this topic, to be honest. I think that volume should be one of your least worries at the end of the day. I think you should firstly be focusing on execution, making sure that's maximised. Secondly, be focusing on intensity, making sure you're training in a close proximity to failure. And thirdly, making sure you're progressing on a week-to-week basis. If those 3 things are covered, you're going to grow. Even if you're at a really low volume, if you're at minimal effective volume, say 5 sets per week per muscle group, you're going to grow because the increase in amount of load and the keeping the intensity the same or keeping the execution the same means that you're going to be driving more mechanical tension and therefore you're going to be growing. I don't think volume is something you need to worry about at all. If you can get away with more volume and you're recovering really well from your current volume, then yeah, go ahead. If more volume is going to help you achieve more progression, then that's the main thing. I think you should just mainly be focusing on keeping your execution the same, training hard and progressing. And if that means you're on very low volume, then be on very low volume. You're still going to grow. Laurence has been on ridiculously low volume because we found that when we were coaching him, because he was progressing so much in the gym, he was driving so much fatigue from the amount of progression he was seeing that his volume had to be really low. And we kept it low throughout the diet and throughout this reversing phase. It's been really low, it works really well, and he's grown tons of it.
Absolutely.
So don't feel like you need to do tons of volume within the gym. I think the main thing is that you're doing effective volume. The volume that you are doing needs to be effective. Your steps need to be intense, they need to be executed well, they need to be accurate, and then you'll grow and you'll progress. So if you're just doing a load of junk volume, all you're going to do is drive more fatigue, drive more central nervous system fatigue, and therefore you're going to prevent progression in the long run. You're going to plateau a lot quicker. So yeah, just try and make sure that the volume you are doing is effective. That's the number one thing that I think is really, a lot of people, even Eddie Hall going to bodybuilding the other day, speaking about how bodybuilding is a lot more about volume, and it's not.
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, there's certainly different approaches that you can take. I'll use the good old saying, there's more than one way to skin a cat. I almost butchered that.
I didn't know you were going with that.
But yeah, like you could do like periodization training. You could do like, I guess volume is technically a driver of hypertrophy on paper, but I think for most people, you could use extremely low volume and still grow.
I think grow optimally.
Yeah, sure, 100%. I was gonna say, I thought of a myth.
Go on.
The anabolic window. That was a good one. Like, you have to have a protein serving in the anabolic window, otherwise you won't grow. Sorry, I'm fizzing. What else? I think this is a really prevalent one within the fitness industry. If you got big, say you're really, really big and have a lot of, I can imagine you hate this one, mate.
Because I'm small.
Yeah. If you got like really big, that means you're knowledgeable. That means you understand how you got big.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people gain a lot of muscle, don't actually know how they got there. I'm not calling anyone out specifically, but like, it's a really common trend that I see, and it's a pretty ignorant view. Like, I see a lot of people say like they'd rather listen to someone like Seabum and follow what he does instead of like, say, someone who follows a more science-based approach. But in actuality, right, if you've got extremely good genetics, if you've got extremely good structure, everything that would mean that you've got a large potential in bodybuilding, you don't need to follow really scientific based training methods, right. And you don't need to really look into the intricacies, because I mean, there are some people who are so genetically blessed that they can do absolutely anything. They can literally touch a barbell and they'll grow. And then that's where the confusion lies, because then they think that that's that specific thing that they did grew them the muscle, when in actuality it wasn't. And then another point, if anything, I personally believe that you should be following and being influenced by people who haven't necessarily got amazing genetics. I think it says it all really. Like, haven't necessarily got amazing genetics, so have had to go into the intricacies of training. They've had to do a lot of research, and they've had to do those things to grow. And I mean, I'm not being peaky here, but a prime example is Ryan. You haven't got the best genetics.
My first 4 years of training, when I didn't know what I was doing, I didn't grow. I was awful. Exactly.
And I'm assuming you followed very mainstream fitness trends.
I was like, I need to sort this out and actually get into the intricacies and the complexities of training.
And look how much you grew from expanding your knowledge. But people are ignorant. People don't understand. Like, it's such a caveman mentality. It's like, oh, you're small, that means that you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
It's horrendous.
Yeah, really good answer on that.
Thank you.
That was good.
Thank you. I feel like I'm a lot better this week.
No, you're spot on. That was a really good answer.
Maybe it's all the Adderall I took.
Your mum's fucking ringing you up. Can you take an Adderall? But yeah,
not about the trend.
I completely agree. I think that you should be taking your information from people who have improved a lot in a certain area. So people who are born with big calves, I wouldn't go to them for calf advice. I'd go to people who have big calves but didn't used to have big calves. So I wouldn't go to me either. I have small calves and I used to have small calves. So yeah, I'd go to people who have improved a lot in a certain area. So those are the ones who have really applied their knowledge to their own physiques and potentially haven't been as blessed from a genetic standpoint, and therefore have had to use that knowledge to make sure they can grow. So yeah, really good answer, mate.
100%, thank you. Are there any other fitness myths?
On the top of my head, no, but there is tons.
There's loads. There's so many. There's so much misinformation in this industry. It's insane. It's because of that. It's because of that exact point. Like,
Oh, I got a good one.
no, hang on. Let me just say what I was going to say. It's like the whole analogy that like, say so say for example, someone's like a CEO. They're really rich. You're most likely going to follow advice that they have said, instead of like say a university lecturer teaching business but hasn't actually done the business themselves, if that makes sense. They haven't made a business, they haven't made any money. You can't apply that same analogy to fitness because of the genetic factor. You know, that's pretty much what I was going to say.
Yeah, my final one was about post-workout carbs, and I think I used to preach this a lot about how important post-workout carbs were due to the upregulation of GLUT4 and your ability to transport more carbs. But I think the reason why post-workout carbs are important is when you're on a really high amount of food. I think basically pounding as many carbs in that window is really important, just because you'll be able to get the food in. That's the only reason, because you have that upregulation of GLUT4 all throughout the day once you've trained. So it's not like just in that small window, but in that small window you might be able to digest carbs a lot easier. You might have a bigger appetite, so therefore you might get away with having more carbs. But I think carbs pre-workout is more important than post, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Especially when dieting.
Yeah, 100%. Because you want to make sure that performance is optimised, and performance won't be optimised if you're not adequately fueling your session.
You got one more?
Yeah, I've got one more, and it's by our top question answer.
Top question answer, yeah. Go on.
Yeah, the words.
Who's the top question answer?
Shut up. Okay, so Nayan has asked, zombie apocalypse in the gym. What's your choice of weapon?
In the gym?
In the gym. So as in, there's a zombie apocalypse, you're in the gym, all the zombies are like raiding the gym, and you've got to find a weapon within the gym that you can use to defend yourselves with.
Okay.
I'm going to try and not say create a zombie train again.
I'm going with the Gym Leco hack.
What? How are you going to use that as a weapon?
I'll get the zombie on the Gym Leco hack and just...
How are you going to get a zombie on the hack?
I'll let him go on the hack.
What do you mean he's going to be running at you going, ah, and you're just going to let
push him on the hack, and then his knees will just get destroyed. Because the hack's so shit.
Hey, that was awful. That was so bad. That was just not practical at all. So you're telling me that a zombie's coming at you, you're running at you.
You're telling me that the Gym Leco hack isn't the most dangerous weapon in Ultraflex.
Come on, we've got to answer this seriously. Okay. I'll actually say Nayan's answer as well, because we had a chat about this, and it's actually really good. I have thought about this. So initially, I was going to say I could get a barbell, right, and use it as a battering ram.
You're not doing that, it's too big.
Yeah, this is the thing though, logistically I don't think it'd work. I think it'd only work if, say, I created like a little zombie train, like I did like a few laps of Ultraflex. No, that won't work. You'd only have one swing, and then they'd just be like hoarding you. So I think it'd only work if you created like a little zombie train, then you kind of gave yourself a bit of space, turned round, and then like used it as like a battering ram and got like all of them in a row. Yeah, see, logistically I don't think this would work. I think maybe using like, you know, the calibrated plates at Ultraflex.
Yeah. Maybe
like frisbee in them, but like obviously
I'm not strong enough for that.
You could frisbee a 10 kilo calibrated plate. 100%.
What is it, rear delts? Nah, I'm not doing that.
There's like 5 kilo.
Alright, I'll take the 2.5.
Give a better answer, because you're
okay.
High bombs.
Realistically, I'm getting the 2 kg dumbbells and using them as knuckle dusters.
Oh, yeah, that's a good shout. Or you could use them as like throwing knives. You could like...
I think you're overestimating your ability to throw weights.
Yeah, to be fair. Or you could get one of the really heavy dumbbells and use it as like Thor's hammer.
Or we could try and educate the zombies and interest them in moment arms, strength profiles. We'll teach them about the prime kit.
Outsmart them.
And try and just convert them. Rehabilitate them.
Because initially the zombies would be loading the
prime pin on every pin.
But we would educate them.
Guys, please don't load the prime machines on every single pin. Please stop. Please, it hurts me every time I see it.
We've seen that a few times, and it's pretty painful to watch. Hang on, let me say Nate's answer because it was really good.
Okay, go on then.
Okay, so he would use a rope as nunchucks.
Right. Oh,
Yeah,
like a
bit like Andrew's there, you know, with his nunchucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then he would use an EZ bar cable attachment for easy use and to ensure my wrists are safely aligned.
These things he's thought about this way too much.
And then a couple of 2.5s to throw, like I said, like you could frisbee them. But I think calibrated plates would be more efficient because the dumbbells would like spin and they're not sharp. Whereas if you really ping the calibrated plate, you could probably do some damage.
That's a good question, man. Keep them coming.
Yeah. The go questions.
These are quite good ones as well.
Yeah.
So actually, I'm gonna ask. I've got like 6 left.
How long have we been going for?
I reckon like an hour.
Should we do like 2 more?
I reckon we just
quick fire. Yeah, sure.
Milan asks, can you still build muscle without the big 3? So I assume he means the powerlifting big 3: bench, squat, and deadlift.
Yes.
Shall I take this one?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
quick answer.
There is no exercise which is essential for building muscle. There's not a single one. I think even with the big 3, bench, I think it's actually pretty suboptimal for building muscle.
Hang on.
In terms of the stimulus fatigue ratio.
Don't get caught up in that because you...
Don't say it.
What?
Don't say it.
You can't even bench 2 plates, mate. How would you know? No. Seriously though, I think from what you just said, like with bench, I think let's be honest, right? If you've got 180 kilo bench, you're gonna have big chest.
No, I don't think so. If you've got 180 kilo bench, but you're doing it in a powerlifting style.
Yeah. Okay. Let me rephrase. If you've got 180 kilo bench and you're doing it with good execution and you're getting a good stimulus out of it, you're gonna have a big chest.
Yeah, but that's not the question. The question is, are they essential? They're not at all.
Sorry, I'll let you go.
I think the squat and the deadlift are really good movements just because they target so many muscle groups at once. They are literally, for the deadlift anyway, it's a complete posterior chain builder, which is perfect because you cover your whole posterior chain with one movement. And then for the squat as well, it's a very good leg builder because it targets your quads, glutes really effectively, a little bit of hamstring as well, and a little bit of erector. So they are 2 really good movements in terms of the amount of muscle groups you can train at once, but they're definitely not essential. I think for a lot of people, different movements will provide more stimulus without as much fatigue, and therefore you'll be able to progress them much more easily. So for example, I don't do a squat, personally because my femurs are so long, I struggle to get depth on a squat, and I struggle to stay safe on a squat. So personally for me, a hack squat or a pendulum work a lot better. I can target my quads and glutes on those movements a lot more effectively than on a squat because I can't really reach true muscular failure on a squat. So for me and my anatomy, a squat doesn't work. For a deadlift, again, a deadlift doesn't really work for me because of the way I'm structured. An SLDO works a lot better because I can keep a straighter leg and therefore I can target my glutes, my erectors a lot more easily than on a deadlift where I'm using a lot of quad. My lower back starts to round quite a bit on the deadlift. So an SLDO works a lot better for me. So it's all about you as a person and what movements you can progress the most. So all 3 of those lifts are not essential, definitely. I think all 3 of those lifts are good movements and they can be very effective and they're very progressible movements. But if those 3 lifts don't work for you, don't feel like you need to do them to grow, 100%. There's not a single movement which is essential for growth. Would you say there's a single movement?
No.
There's types of movements which are essential to grow.
Yeah.
All movements are doing are different anatomical functions to provide stimulus to the muscle. So as long as you're doing those functions, for example, horizontal shoulder reduction for the chest, knee extension for the quads, as long as you're doing those functions in any type of movement, you're going to be providing stimulus to the muscle and therefore you're going to grow.
What did you just say? Horizontal?
Shoulder flex, shoulder adduction. What did I say?
Just say the humerus converges across the midline.
That is literally longer than saying horizontal shoulder reduction.
Yeah, I suppose both are quite long-winded.
What was I
Upper
saying?
arm across midline of the body.
Upper arm across. But yeah, that was a good question.
Plus you're small, so I'm not going to listen to you.
Yeah. You're literally fat. Oh wait, sorry man, I can't say that.
That's fat phobic.
Yeah, sorry. This one's actually a really good one and a bit of a deep one as well. How to deal with body dysmorphia?
Christ.
You've got reverse body dysmorphia, so I don't think you can answer this question.
No, that's not true. I do like...
Mate, the amount of times you mobbed me in the house, just came up to me and pulled the most muscular, pulled a front double.
That's true. This is probably... You're probably better at answering this question than me, to be honest.
I think being aware of the fact that you're never going to really be truly happy with your physique unless you're really lean is something that you just need to basically accept. Also, when you're looking at your own physique, you're always going to be drawn to the worst part or the fattest part. So for me, when I'm looking at my physique, I'm always drawn to my upper back or my calves because those are my worst body parts. And in terms of body fat composition, I'm always drawn to my midsection because that's my fattest body part. So you've got to be aware of that fact that when you're looking at your own physique and you're analysing your own physique, you're always drawn to the worst parts. But when someone else looks at your physique, you're always going to be drawn to their best parts. So when I look at your physique, I'm automatically drawn to his delts and his arms, when you probably look at your physique and look at your lats or your erectors.
100%. I was also going to say as well, I think if you really start getting into lifting and progression, I don't think you will ever be fully satisfied with the way that you look. I mean, look at Ivan. He is literally the epitome of like a Greek god. And he has pretty raging body dysmorphia, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Or like he used to at least. It's insane. I also think maybe this is veering away a little bit from the topic of body dysmorphia and more just talking about like general like satisfaction with your physique. If your actions don't correlate to your goals, then you can't complain about the way that you look. Say for okay,
That's a bit harsh.
I'm not talking about it in the context of body dysmorphia at all. I'm just talking about like your adherence to say like physique development.
I think it's more about your expectations shouldn't be.
Yeah, exactly. Like your expectations
Should match
your adherence level. So you shouldn't be expecting to fully maximise your physique development if you're not hitting the majority of variables outside and inside the gym. Sorry, I'm not saying that has any correlation with body dysmorphia.
I'll have a go at answering how to actually deal with it. So you're going to experience a lot of body dysmorphia or not liking your physique in the off season. And the best way to deal with this is just shift your focus. When you're dieting, your focus is completely on your physique and getting leaner each week and looking better each week. When you're in a surplus and you're trying to gain muscle, your focus should be basically shifted over to progression in the gym completely. Don't really look at your physique in the mirror, try and avoid looking at yourself. Maybe take less progress pictures or just take progress pictures and send them to your coach. Don't worry about what they look like and really just shift your focus to maximising your progress in the gym. And that will therefore lead to you building more muscle in the long term and hopefully dealing with that body dysmorphia by building a better physique.
Absolutely. To be honest, it is quite tough in an off season. Like peak
hard.
off season at 243, I had the most muscle that I've ever had in my life. Well, apart from maybe now.
Yeah.
But my physique just didn't reflect that because I
had a lot of fat covering.
Fat. But that's fine. If you're going to maximise physique development, you need to get to those uncomfortable points where you're pushing body weight to a place that it's never been before. You've just got to be really, really self-aware with it. You know, I think it does take a bit of experience and a bit of practice to really be super self-aware.
Actually, I've got a good tip.
Well, I didn't. Sorry. Yeah, go on. You go.
When you're looking at your physique, avoid looking at your physique when you're not in the gym and just do your posing or do your pictures post-workout. That helped me a lot in my off-season because outside of the gym, I looked awful. And to be fair, still now I don't look good outside of the gym. But when I've got a pump and I'm in good lighting post-workout, that's when I can really analyse my physique without having that body dysmorphic eye.
I think that's especially important for people who compete because let's be honest, your staged look is going to be your best look, and post-workout when you're in the gym, that's probably the closest that you're going to get to your stage look. If you're looking at yourself with like piss poor lighting, no pump, flat, that's not reflective of your stage look. Maybe it's reflective of just how you look in real life, but let's be honest, the fitness industry is so warped when it comes to what people look like in photos and what people look like outside of the gym. Like we said, no pump, no lighting.
So hopefully that's answered your question pretty well, Milan.
Yeah, sure.
Will Razzo asks what were our first ever jobs. So Laurence has never had a job. He's been unemployed since day. I'm joking. What is your first job?
Just not true.
Go on.
My first job was in David Lloyd. That's
a pretty good first job, that.
It was decent, to be fair. It was actually a very good job. On Friday, we used to have like cinema nights. It was great.
Oh my god, my first jobs were awful.
Really?
My first ever job was a pot washer at Kilworth House, which was a nice place, but I was the pot washer, so I was the bottom of the barrel in terms of staff there.
Yeah.
And that was okay. I got to work with my friend. I got to work with Matt Jones, which was nice.
Gosh.
But yeah, that as a first job wasn't great. And then my second job was working in what are they called? Like a factory?
Like a warehouse?
A warehouse, that's
Yeah.
it. I worked in a warehouse I checked packages and shit.
Yeah.
But that was horrible. That was worse than the pot washing because you're stuck in this big room and
I also did
loud noises. It's horrible, isn't it?
I also did warehouse work and it was horrendous. But having said that, right, I think that it's probably at some stage in your life, it's probably good to do something like that as a job.
Oh yeah.
And I'll tell you why, because it puts things into perspective, right? So say, for example, you get another job and it's really good, but I think a lot of people get quite complacent with their jobs and they don't appreciate it. I think we possibly, and it's normal, we might experience this, but then the perspective, and the experience of having that warehouse job, in those moments you can go, well, at least I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
There's people in there that have to do that for the rest of their life.
They have to make money for their families doing that.
Exactly, yeah. It makes you realise how privileged and fortunate you actually are.
Yeah, I think also having jobs like that made me realise that to maximise my potential, I have to do a job that I enjoy.
Yeah.
Which is why I made the jump to online coaching and personal training after uni. I could have gone into a finance job with my degree.
Yeah.
And I could have been probably on a lot more money than I'm on now.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't be enjoying it. I wouldn't be maximising my productivity and potential in a job like that. So that's why I went for this job. And I'm really going to try and maximise myself within this career and get as far and as successful as I can within this career. So having those bad first jobs is very important in my opinion.
Sure. 100%. 110%.
Alright, 2 more and then we'll finish off.
Alright.
Is sleep really that important for achieving a good physique?
Jesus Christ, yes, absolutely. Sleep is
It's
one of the most important variables when it comes to
it's the number
physique.
one. Sleep is the number one natural supplement there is.
Yeah, and also, to be fair, for general cognitive function and happiness,
Oh, it's so important.
it's so important. Jesus Christ.
Even the studies on people dieting with 4 hours sleep versus 8 hours sleep, and even if you're in a deficit, the people on 4 hours sleep are losing a lot more muscle and losing a lot less fat, and the people on 8 hours sleep are basically losing all fat. So even stuff like that, like the amount of fat and muscle you're losing in a diet, is massively affected by sleep, and that's probably due to the decreased training performance from having poor sleep.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely, one of the most important things.
In not even just training, for everything.
Yeah.
Get your sleep in order.
Absolutely.
So
Last question.
should we quickly give some value in terms of how to get better sleep?
Absolutely. Shall I take this one?
Yeah, go on.
So one of the things that has really helped me to optimize sleep is having a pre-bed routine, which will help to get your circadian rhythm in check. Your circadian rhythm is basically where if you do specific things, your body knows when to release specific hormones.
Body clock.
Yeah, exactly. So for example, if you're winding down later at night, your body knows to release melatonin. Is that true? Yeah. So having a pre-bed routine at the minute, like I mentioned a bit earlier, I'm doing stretching, which really helps to regulate my breathing. We're just we're trying to not work after 9 and we're winding down. We were thinking about starting a Netflix show. Another way that you can really optimize sleep, and this one's a little bit frowned upon, but not even frowned upon, but I feel like people just don't think that it works, is blue light blockers. So basically when you like are on your phone, or to be fair, any exposure to blue light, it inhibits the release of melatonin, which is the hormone that makes you tired, makes you feel drowsy. And blue light blockers. Not again. I knew it would happen at some point. Blue light blockers basically
block the blue light.
Block the blue light, yeah, exactly, which helps to release melatonin. And I feel like nowadays it's very difficult to not go on your phone at night.
Yeah.
So honestly, it's a really, really good tool to have. Other things to note: you need to make sure that your sleep environment is really comfortable. Especially for me and Ryan, we feel like that we really overheat if we haven't, say, got a fan. If our room isn't like really cool and a nice temperature. I think hygiene is also quite important. So like regularly changing your bed covers just to make sure that you're in a comfy like sleep environment. And then I'd probably say as the last one, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, having I'd say an excess, and I mean an excess of protein can drastically raise your body temperature, and then that could effectively disrupt your sleep, because protein is the most thermogenic macronutrient, isn't it?
I think the main things for me to improve sleep would be routine, as you said.
Yeah.
So regulating your circadian rhythm by having a consistent routine.
Yeah.
And therefore having that increased release of melatonin close to bed. Number 2, as Laurence said again, sleep hygiene. So making sure that your room is cold, dark, basically like a cave. Your brain needs to basically reduce in temperature in order to enter a sleep state. So having maybe even a room that's a little bit too cold. I have my fan on throughout the whole year, even in winter I have my fan on. So having that really cold environment can really help with you falling asleep. And then thirdly, trying to avoid any food close to bed, just because you don't want to have too much blood being built up or drawn towards the digestive system, and you don't want to be digesting too much food close to bed, because that's not going to allow you to fall asleep because you're digesting the food. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And obviously what Laurence said about blue light as well is very important.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for giving me that validation.
Yeah, you're great.
Tell me I'm smart.
You're really smart.
Thanks. Can do one more question, or should? Yeah.
One last question.
Sound.
Argon, who had a little dig at me last week, but it's alright, we'll still answer your question. He says, I can't help but lock out my knee on the leg press, but it doesn't feel dangerous. What do you think? So this is a big misconception in the fitness industry, as we spoke about earlier. A big myth is that by locking out on a leg press, you're basically going to hyperextend your knees, and that thing where your knees go inwards basically. Yeah. If you're not entering that range with force and you're controlling the concentric into that range, locking out on the leg press is fine, because there's no moment arm created there between the knee and the line of force. So your knee can't cave inwards if you're not hyperextending. If you're hyperextending and putting force onto your knee, then yeah, it's going to be dangerous. But if you're entering that range and it feels safe, and you're entering that range with caution and not forcing yourself into that range and potentially hyperextending, then there's not really any problem with locking out at the top of a leg press. As long as it's controlled and you're bracing throughout your hamstring and really controlling the concentric a lot as well as the eccentric, then in my opinion, locking out on a leg press is not a problem at all.
You had to talk about moment arms, didn't you?
I've got to drop moment arms a bit.
You literally had to.
I did biomechanics at uni, I got it.
I know you did. You can't stop mentioning it.
So yeah, that's the end of the podcast. Do you want to close it up?
Yeah, sure. Shall I do the intro next week and then you can do the outro? Should we mix it up, or should we just keep it consistent? I don't mind. Well, thank you very much again, guys, for watching the Limitless Physique podcast. We do apologise about the audio issues. I didn't actually realise that my mic was off, so you might have noticed me peering down at it throughout the course of the podcast. But yeah, thank you so much for listening.
Thank you for the support as well.
Yeah, thank you so much for the support. Honestly, I'm quite baffled that as many people watched it as
we had quite a few people come up to us in the gym. I really enjoyed it. I was surprised at how good it was. So
I actually can't believe that. Yeah, it was genuinely really not to be soppy here, but it was quite heartwarming. I'd never thought that. I didn't think many people would listen to it, to be fair. So yeah, I'll have to check how many listens it's got on Spotify as well. I need to figure that out. So if anyone knows how to do that, drop me a message, because I'm an absolute idiot when it comes to technology. Sorry, I'm rambling again. Thank you so much for watching the Limitless Physique podcast, and we will see you next week.